Hey guys, Mariano here, owner and head trainer of Untamed. Now I want to welcome you to the page and thank you for clicking on the video, so let's get things started. This is Ellie. She's a 5-month-old black lab puppy. She's going to be doing a 3-week board and train program with us because she jumps, she pulls, she barks non-stop when she's in the crate, and mom works from home, a lot of times on the phone, which is something that they just can't have. When she's not in the crate at home, she tends to chew and otherwise destroy things like the blinds and the couch, so they basically have to pick their poison. Now, her being with us is going to be good for her because not only will we have a chance to work on her obedience, but there's a lot of things that puppies tend to innately lack. Focus, impulse control, otherwise understanding that just because they think they want to do something right at this moment, they don't tend to have that filter of, does that necessarily mean that this is something that I should do? Now we're going to be working on all that stuff. We just wanted to start out with this quick clip here of her walking so that you could get a sense for how much she pulls. I don't know that the camera's quite doing it justice, but she pulled pretty good, and she definitely jumps a lot, especially when there's food and treats and stuff involved, which you'll see here in just a little bit. Okay, so what you're seeing here is some footage of me doing, I want to say this is our first or second food lesson, and I'm working on sit, and a big thing that I notice with dogs a lot of the times is most owners, especially most puppy owners, they teach their dogs basics like sit with food, but what they don't tend to teach a dog is the release command like break or okay, and I think that this is something that's hugely important, and yet most of the time it's overlooked by people, not on purpose. I just think that people don't quite understand, and maybe this is our fault, trainers, for not putting stuff out on YouTube enough that clearly explains this, but if you want to build focus and impulse control and patience with the puppy, that's going to mean asking them to do things over a specific period of time, because we all know that puppies have this habit to where you ask them to sit down, they'll sit there for like a couple seconds and then they kind of decide, I'm over this, I've sat long enough, and then they move. When you work on a release command like break, you have a puppy sit down for a predetermined period of time because they're not allowed to move until you, of course, release them. And if you don't release them and they get up before that, you can mark this with no, which is also absolutely vital in training, and then have the opportunity to reset them and keep going with now the newfound understanding that if you move early and I mark with no, you don't get the food that I would otherwise give you if you were to wait until released. Now, as an overall idea for her training program, she definitely needs obedience, but also socialization, impulse control work. Her crate training overall needs work because not only does she bark and she needs to be silent, but she also isn't great with her food schedule, meaning she doesn't always eat at particular times of the day and she doesn't always eat all her food whenever it's given. So we really wanted to work on that because that, of course, when mom works from home and she needs to be crated a large majority of the day, it's going to help us button down not only her feeding times, but also her potty break times and just her normal cycles throughout the day overall. Puppies tend to have these short bursts of energy, kind of like young kids, and so it's really good to know when you have a nice routine going. I can get her out at this time, work her at this time, walk her at this time, then take her potty, get her some water, throw her in the crate with her favorite chew toy, and I know that she'll be good to go for an hour and a half to 2 hours before I do it all over again. When you have a young dog, this is the kind of thing that really allows you to get through the day, since most of us are busy and have work or school, and puppy training, routine development ends up being something like 70-80% of training for a puppy, and as they get older, obedience starts to take over and become bigger and bigger as they're given more freedoms. Now, socialization-wise, she does jump on everyone, and I love that she's so playful and happy, but she does need to understand that socializing with people and dogs doesn't necessarily mean you go nuts with everyone. Sometimes I need you to be calm and focused and continue to walk or respect the downstay or whatever it is that we ask you in the moment. That and just working toward the ultimate goal as we keep her progressing through training with these later videos here is we want her to, number one, respect mom a little more because she does jump and bark and otherwise not listen to mom a little bit more so than she does with dad. She's normally pretty good around dad. But also, dad is a physical therapist and he wants to be able eventually to take her to work at the clinic. Now that's definitely going to mean working some place commands, some really good crate manners, and otherwise when she's bumbling around the place, not letting her jump on people. And instead teaching her the value of learning to be patient and being calm and being present. Stay tuned as we keep progressing through her training program. Thanks again for watching, guys. Also be sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, as well as the Dog Trainers Podcast. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you for video 2. Take care.